Read the questions and identify keywords in the questions. That is the first thing. One of the mistakes some people make is that they start by reading the passage. If you do that, you are going to waste time. It's an unnecessary waste of time. Don't bother reading the passage first, especially if you are doing IELTS academic. Don't start by reading the passage. Start by reading the question. And why are you reading the question? Read the question so that you can identify keywords. Somebody asked me one time, what are keywords? How do I know keywords? Keywords are verbs, adverbs, adjectives, proper nouns, dates, figures, and money, amounts of money. These are keywords. Anytime I see a verb in the question, that verb jumps at me as a keyword. Adverb, it jumps at me as a keyword. Adjective, it jumps at me as a keyword. Proper noun are my favorite keywords because those ones are very easy to locate. Proper nouns, dates, and figures, they are very easy to locate. Okay? You're going to see when I start solving questions. So step 1 is to read the questions and identify keywords. Step 2 is to scan through the passage for the keywords, okay? Or for the paraphrase of the keywords, okay? Scan through the passage for the keywords or for the paraphrase of the keywords. You're going to see when I start solving questions now, you're going to see the way they do lots of paraphrasing. You're going to see one word in the passage, but then, you're going to see one word in the question. But then when you check the passage, you're going to see a completely different word. We call it paraphrasing. So you must be able to identify paraphrasing. Okay, you must be able to what? Identify paraphrasing. So when you are scanning through the passage, don't just think that you see the exact keyword. No, you might see paraphrases. Okay, so that's number 2. Scan. You're going to see the way I will scan. You're going to learn. Step number 3 is what I call focus reading and analysis. Focus on the part of the passage that contains the keywords or the paraphrase. So like I said, you might not see the exact keyword. It might be the paraphrase that you will see. So focus on that part, study it, and analyze. Okay? The sentence containing the keyword, the sentence before it, and the sentence after it. Focus on all those sentences. Try and study them. Interpret accurately. I call this step 3, I call it focus reading and analysis. Compare the information in that part of the passage with the information in the question. That's step number 3. And then use that to decide what your answer will be. Okay? Analyze critically and select and choose your answer. Okay? And then step number 4, this is the step that you take after marking your work. After marking your work, do self-correction. Okay? What does self-correction mean? Self-correction means that you go through the questions that you got wrong and take time to learn from your mistakes. This is extremely important. To me, this step 4 is the most important. If you don't learn to do self-correction, you are going to repeat mistakes again and again and again. So you must learn to do self-correction after every IELTS reading practice. That's extremely important. So after marking your work, do self-correction and learn from your mistakes. Learn from your mistakes. So this exercise, this practice that I want to do now, you're going to see me use all these 4 steps. Okay? And after marking my work, it's possible that I will get some questions wrong. If I get any question wrong, you're going to see the way I'm going to do self-correction. So let's start. So this is Cambridge IELTS 14. This particular passage, I'm not sure I've done it before, so it's looking very new to me. But then let's take it, let's look at it closely. So like I said, I'm not going to start by reading the passage. You can see this passage here now. It's so long, I don't want to waste my time reading it. Assuming it's IELTS general, I might consider reading it. But it's IELTS academic, reading it is a complete waste of time. So I'm going to start with the question. Complete the notes below. Choose one word. So I'm supposed to pick one word and use one word from the passage to fill these gaps. I'm going to pick one word from this passage, okay, this passage, to fill these gaps, gap 1 to 8. So what are my keywords here? This name is a keyword for me. This is a proper noun. You can see starting with a capital letter. Yasbel, I don't know whether I'm pronouncing it correctly. Yasbel Giraldo. This is the name of somebody. This is a proper noun. This is a proper noun. So this is a keyword for me. Yasbel Giraldo's research focused on a total of dash different age groups of hands. Total is a keyword here. Focused, this is a verb, is a keyword. Different age groups, different age groups. This is an adjective. Group, hands, this is a noun. Okay, so I'm going to go to the passage and I'll look for this name, research, and I will look for focused. Let's look at the passage now. So look at this passage here. Let me make this thing a little bit bigger. Now, you can see the name here. Can you see that name? So I'll focus carefully. I will look at this sentence where they mention this name. We get a picture that these ants, I need to know what ants they are referring to. Because in this question, I saw different age group of ants. So I need to go back and find out what does this THESC, what is it referring to? Let me go back. Pedal dentata, a native ant, isn't immortal, but scientists have found that it doesn't seem to show any sign of aging. Old worker ants can do everything just as well as youngsters, and their brains appear just as sharp. Okay, so I'm seeing old and young ants. Let me look at the question again. Focused on a total of dash different age groups. I've not seen this age group yet. So maybe they will mention the number of age groups. I don't know. Let me check. Let me look at the next paragraph. Let me look at the next paragraph. Such age divine feats are rare. Naked mole rats can live for almost 30 years. Okay, they can still reproduce. I'm looking for that thing about age groups. I can't see anything here in this paragraph. Let me look at the next paragraph. Yes, I'm seeing something here. Giraldo focused. Can you see focused? We saw focused here. Can you see? Can you see the way what I said about keywords? Giraldo focused on ants at 4 age ranges. Can you see paraphrasing here? Age ranges. That's a paraphrase for what? Age groups. Can you see paraphrasing? How many of them? 4. 4 age ranges. So the answer to this gap is going to be what? A total of 4. F-O-U-R. That's what I'm going to write. F-O-U-R. Now, let me show you something here. For those of you who are probably just listening to me for the first time, if you want to write your answer for gap filling questions, either you write for this particular question now, for F-O-U-R, is either you write F-O-U-R, this is exactly how it appears in the passage, or you write everything in capital. Any one of these two will be perfect. Okay? Please don't write figure. The instruction is very clear. The instruction says choose one word. The instruction does not say write a number. The instruction does not say write a number. So I don't think it's going to be appropriate to write figure 4. Okay? So my answer for number 1 is going to be what? F-O-U-R. I'm going to write it somewhere. I'm going to type it out somewhere on my computer here so that I'm not going to mess up the screen. F-O-U-R. When I finish, I'm going to post all the answers and then we're going to look at the answer at the back of the book. So I've answered number 1. The answer to number 1 for me is going to be F-O-U-R. Now, number 2, behavior. This is a keyword for me. How well ants looked after their dash. Ants looked after. Looked after. Looked after means you are watching over something. How well. This is an adjective. So let me look at the passage. So you see, I saw the answer to question 1 in paragraph 3. The answer to question 2 cannot be in paragraph 2. The answer to question 2 cannot be in paragraph 1. We cannot go back. We don't go back when it comes to gap filling questions. We go forward. The answers are arranged sequentially. Okay? So this is my answer to question, what's it called? To question 1. So let me just continue. Unlike previous studies that estimated how old the ants were, okay? They were tracked when they became adults. Okay, next paragraph. I can't say anything about how well ants looked at anything. Next paragraph. Girardo watched how well, can you see the word? How well the ants took care of, can you see paraphrasing? Took care of, see the paraphrasing, what does it represent here? Looked after something is the same thing as what? Took care of. See, can you see what I told you earlier on? Paraphrasing shows up every question in IELTS reading. There will be some kind of paraphrasing. There will always be paraphrasing. So this passage says what? Girardo watched how well the ants took care of the young of the colony. The young, that's the word. Looked after their young. Number 2 is going to be young. After they are young. That's number 2. Number 3, their ability to locate dash using a scent trail. Their ability to locate dash. Locate, this is a verb. Is an important keyword. Scent, S-C-E-N-T. This is another important keyword. Trail. So I'll go to the passage. Let me go and track that again. So took care of the young. Then let me move on. I'm scanning through. I can see trail. Can you see trail here? So let me focus on that sentence. She compared how well 20-day-old and 95-day-old ants followed the telltale scents. Can you see? That's the word we saw in the question. That the insects usually leave to mark a trail of food. Let me look at the question again. Their ability to locate food, that should be food. The ability to locate food look at it. Follow the telltale scent that insects usually leave to mark a trail of food. That's it. Food. To locate, the ability to locate food using a scent trail. So number 3 is going to be what? F-O-O-D. Food. Number 3 is food. Number 4, the effect that dash had on them. Effect is a keyword here. Effect is a very important keyword. Had on them. So let me look at the passage. Effect that something had on them after that point where I saw scent. So this is scent here, trail of food. She tested how ants responded to light. Notice that she tested how ants responded to light. That is it. Responded to, that's effect of light. Or we can say how light affected them. That's another way to paraphrase that thing. The effect that light had on them. That's going to be the word for number 4. Light, L-I-G-H-T. Light. The effect that light had on them. Okay? Next one. Next question. Hold on, I did not read the question. Let me go back. How dash they attacked prey. How dash. So this is going to be a kind of adjective. Attack, this is a verb. Then prey, this is a noun. Those are my keywords. Back to the passage. So it says she tested how they responded to light and measured how active they were by counting how often ants in a small dish walked across a line. Okay, that doesn't fit into that gap. And she experimented how ants react to live prey. Hold on. How the ants react to live prey. How the ants react to live prey. How dash they attacked prey. How dash. What's the word here? She experimented how ants react to live prey. A tethered fruit fly. Okay. How she experimented how the ants react to live prey. Let me read further. I don't think I've seen the word yet. Girardo expected the older ants to perform poorly in all these tasks, but the elderly insects were all good caretakers and trail followers. The 95-day-old ants could track the scents even longer than their younger counterparts. They all responded to light well, and the older ants were more active. When it came to reacting to prey, the older ants attacked the poor fruit fly just as aggressively. That's the word. I said it. I knew it was going to be a kind of adverb or adjective. Aggressively, that's the word. How? So this thing here, where is it now? She experimented how ants react to live prey. So the word that, if you want to qualify this word here, react, is going to be aggressively. We saw it here. Can you see that? Some people will now make a mistake and they will now come and pick a word from this place. There's no word in this place that can fit into that gap. There is no word that can fit into that gap. So if you read and you see that there's no word that fits into a gap, just continue reading. Continue reading. You will most likely see a word that fits in very well. And the word that fits in here is going to be what? How aggressively they attacked prey. You can see that that makes complete sense. How aggressively they attacked prey. So if you say, that guy attacked him aggressively, that makes sense. It has to be a word. It has to be a kind of adverb. You understand? To qualify attack aggressively. So aggressively. Aggressively. That's going to be the word for number 5. How aggressively. Okay? Number 6 now. Let's move on. Number 6. Comparison between ages and the dash of dying cells in the brains of ants. So now they want to talk about the brains. Comparison between age and the dash of dying cells in the brains of ants. So let's look at the passage. Let's look at the passage. So I saw aggressively. Okay, this is aggressively here. Now, next paragraph. Is there anything like brain? Okay, this is brain here. Then Gerardo compared the brains of the 20-day-old and 95-day-old ants, identifying any cells that were close to death. Okay, let me check the question again. Comparison between the age and the dash of dying cells. Okay, the age and the dash of dying cells. So she saw no major difference with age, nor was there any difference in the location of the dying cell. So age and location of dying cells. So that's the word. Location is the word. We already have age here. So the next word is going to be location. So answer to number 6 is going to be what? Location. Answer to number 6 is what? Location. Location. Number 7, condition of synaptic complexes, areas in which dash meets. Synaptic complexes is a keyword for me here. And I can see mushroom bodies. Also, this is also a keyword. So I'll go to the passage. Mushroom bodies and then synaptic complex. I can see mushroom bodies here. Ants and other insects have structures in their brains called mushroom bodies, which are important for processing information and learning memory. She also wanted to see if aging affects the density of the synaptic complexes within these structures. This is most likely our word, density. Let me check the question. Density. Conditions of the synaptic complexes, areas in which, areas in which something meets. Density is not the word. There's nothing like areas in which the density meets. Something meets. Neurons, that's the word. Neurons come together. Can you see paraphrasing here? Neurons come together. Neurons meet. Paraphrasing. Paraphrasing. That's the gist of IELTS reading. Let me give you one secret here, ladies and gentlemen. If anybody does IELTS reading and the person scores less than 7.0 in IELTS reading, it means that that person's vocabulary is not rich enough. That's the meaning. Okay? If you score less than 30/40 in IELTS reading, it means that your vocabulary is not rich enough. Now, the next question is this: how do I enrich my vocabulary? Practice more IELTS reading. You can see the way I'm practicing now. You can see all the paraphrasings that are showing up. You can see that paraphrasing is showing up in practically every question. That's what happens when you practice a lot of questions. You begin to see paraphrasing, and it adds to your vocabulary. It adds to your vocabulary. Your English vocabulary becomes richer. Your vocabulary cannot become richer by listening to somebody. Maybe it will become richer, maybe it will increase by 10% because you are listening to somebody. But when you sit down with IELTS reading and you practice yourself, You figure the thing out yourself. You look for the paraphrasing. You ask yourself, okay, this is the word they used here. Okay, what word did they use here to represent the same thing? That's how you build up your vocabulary yourself. That one will stick more in your brain than if you are just listening to somebody. So, but when you listen to somebody, you see the way the person is solving it, like I'm doing now. You are seeing the way I'm solving it. I'm tracking the answers. So that when you want to solve your own, you can now follow the same strategy. Okay? So paraphrasing is something that you need to what? You need to get yourself prepared for. Okay? Let's do number 8. Level of 2 dash in the brain associated with aging. Level is a keyword here. 2 something in the brain. So let me go to the passage. 2 something in the brain. So look at it. It says where neurons come together. Again, the answer was no. What's more? The old ants didn't experience any drop in the levels of either serotonin or dopamine. These are the two stuffs. Can you see? Can you see that they did not write TWO in this part of the passage? Can you see another way they've paraphrased? They did not write TWO, but serotonin, dopamine, that's true. Now look at the next thing. Brain chemicals, this is our answer, whose decline often coincides with aging. So our answer is going to be chemicals. Level of 2 chemicals in the brain associated with aging. The answer to number 8 is going to be what? Chemicals. Chemicals. Very straightforward. So I've solved questions 1 to 8. Okay? Gap filling questions. Okay? Let me move on to the next set of questions. Question 9 to 13. This is true, false, not given. Okay? How do we solve this? We read the statement. We go to the passage and find out whether the statement is true or whether the statement is false or whether there's no information on it. Okay? I want you to follow closely and see how I'm going to deal with these two. Same strategy. Read the statement, identify keywords, then go to the passage, scan, focus, read, analyze, decide on what your answer will be. It's the same 4-step process. Now, Fedole dentata ants are the only known animals which remain active for almost their whole lives. This is a keyword here, Fedole dentata. That's the name of the ant. Only, ladies and gentlemen, anytime you are solving true, false, not given questions, and you see a word like only, pay attention to it. It's a very important keyword. It's one of the biggest traps in true, false, not given and yes, no, not given. Only. Only. I still taught somebody a particular lesson, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? And this particular word cost that person to lose a mark in one of the questions. The person picked the wrong answer because of this particular word. Okay? Let me even show you. Let me even ask a question. Let me see who is following. Let me see who can figure this out. Let me ask you the question I asked that person. I want you guys to tell me something. If I say Alex is the only son of Maria, okay? If I say Alex is the only son of Maria, and another person comes and says Alex is surely the son of Maria, these two things, do they mean the same thing? Let me ask everybody this question. These two things I've written on the screen now. Alex is the only son of Maria, and Alex is surely the son of Maria. Or let's say Alex is certainly the son of Maria. Do they mean the same thing or are they contradictory? If you say they mean the same thing, type the same thing. If you say they are contradictory, type contradictory. If you don't know, type I don't know. Let me see. Let me see what you guys will say. Okay, some people are saying, somebody said yes, they mean the same thing. Somebody said no, they don't mean the same thing. Okay. Do they mean, I want more answers. Let me see. Let me see more answers. More answers. Somebody says they are different. They are different. They are different. Yes, they are definitely different, ladies and gentlemen. They don't mean the same thing. Okay? That's not just enough. It's not just enough to know that they don't mean the same thing. The second thing is that they are not contradictory. It is possible for Alex to be the only son of Maria, and it's also possible for Alex to surely be the son of Maria. You know that it's possible that Alex doesn't resemble Maria. And somebody will see Alex and say, are you the son of Maria? You don't resemble her. But if Alex resembles Maria, then somebody that sees Alex will say, you are surely the son of Maria. Okay? So this particular concept I've shown you now is one of the concepts that we use to sort questions in true, false, not given, and yes, no, not given. Okay, you're going to see me use it as I solve these questions. Now look at it. So only is a very important keyword here. Only known animal which remain active for almost their whole lives. Now let's look at the passage. So I'll start from the beginning again. It's not likely. Let me just start from the beginning and scan. So I can see the name here. So that question says remain active. That's the word. That thing says remain active. That's the key verb there. So let me look for that remain active here. So native ant isn't immortal. It doesn't show any sign of aging. Older worker ants can do everything just as well as the young ones. We get a picture that these ants really don't decline. Okay, now look at this entire paragraph here. Can you see that they've not really compared this particular ant with any other ant? For you to say phenol dentata are the only known animals, that means they have compared this particular ant with other animals. But in this passage, in this part of the passage, I've not seen anything that compares them with other animals. They said they are not immortal. They don't show signs of aging. Older work ants can do stuff as the younger ones. They don't decline. They are not comparing them with other animals. Look at the next sentence. Let's see whether they compare them with other animals. Okay, I can see rats here. Hold on. Such age-defying feats are rare in the animal. Now we have seen something. Rare. What is meaning of rare? It means that it is not common. Naked mole rats can live for almost 30 years and stay fit for nearly their entire lives. We have the answer to our question. Ladies and gentlemen, from what I just read now, what is the answer to this question? Who is following me? Let me see who can answer this. From the sentence I just read now, naked mole rats are the whatever. I will not go back to it. What is the answer to this question, ladies and gentlemen? Phenodentata are the only known animals which remain active for almost their whole lives. What is the answer? Thank you. The answer is false. They are not the only. This passage already, such age-defying feats are rare. That means many animals do not show it. It now mentions one of them. Naked mole rats can live for almost 30 years and stay fit. What is the meaning of stay fit? Remain active. Paraphrasing. For nearly their entire lives. That is a contradiction to this. Phenol dentata are the only known, no, they're not the only known animals. Female mole rats are also in that category. Okay, so the answer to number 9 is going to be what? False. F-A-L-S-E. False. Okay, number 10. Let's move on. Number 10. Number 10. Isabel Giraldo was the first person to study Fidol dentata using precise data about the insect's age. Using precise data. So was he the first person? You see, this word is also a very important keyword. It's just like only. Was he the first person? Then using precise data about the insect's age. So let's go to the passage and check. So where did I see mole rat? So this is mole rat here. So let me just continue from there. They can still reproduce like naked mole rats. It's social complexity. You see the way I'm scanning? I'm looking for that precise whatever. Humans are also highly social. There's nothing like precise here. In the lab, hold on. It's now social complexity that makes phenodentata useful for studying aging in people, says Giraldo. Okay. In the lab, dentata worker ants, Giraldo focused on. Okay. I can't say anything. Let me check that statement again. He's the first person to study dentata ants using precise data about the insect's age. Let me see. Let me look for that. I've not seen that so far. Precise data, using precise data about the insect's age. That stuff is not here. I can't see it in this paragraph too. Hold on. By contrast, most animal studies of aging use mice, worms, or fruit flies, which all lead much more isolated lives. Oh, hold on. Humans are also highly social. Okay. It's is it's this social complexity that makes P. dentata useful for studying aging in people, says Giraldo, now at the California Institute of Technology. Is it the first person? I can't see anything that shows that she's the first person. No, the first person. Can you see? Unlike all previous studies, which only estimated is the opposite of precise. Can you see paraphrasing here? This is another way they paraphrase. So, in fact, let me give you the different ways they paraphrase. Let me give you the different ways they paraphrase. How IELTS examiners paraphrase. I'm going to give you 3 or 4 ways they paraphrase. Let me try and remember all the 3 or 4 ways that they paraphrase. Number 1, by rearranging the words in a phrase, clause, or sentence. That's number 1. Number 2, by using a pronoun to refer to a noun. That's another way they paraphrase in IELTS reading. Okay? Number 3, by using a synonym. By using a synonym. A synonym is a word that has the same meaning as another word. For example, maybe e.g., you can see school in the question, and then in the passage you will see educational institution. Those two things basically mean the same thing. They are using a synonym, words that mean the same thing. Okay? Number 4, by using opposite words that are opposite in meaning. For example, here now, the example what I just read now, what's that word that they used now? Let me check again. I'm coming though. I want to check that word. Precise. Thank you. That's the word. Precise. So in that they used precise. So for example, in the question, they can use the word precise, and then they will now use another word in the passage that is opposite in meaning, estimate. Estimate means that is not the exact thing. Okay? So these are some of the common ways that they paraphrase in IELTS reading. And you must be able to identify these things if you want to get good scores. Okay? Now let's continue with our question. So this question says what? He was the first person to study phenodentata using precise data about insect age. So what's that thing that they said estimates? So that passage says, where is it now? Unlike all previous studies, which only estimated how old the ants were, our work tracked the ants from the time the pupae became adults. So she knew their exact ages. Exact is a synonym for precise. Exact is the opposite of estimate. So let's say maybe some people have done studies with phenodentata before, but those people did not determine the exact age of those animals, of those insects. They just used estimate age. But this woman did something that involved what? The exact age. She determined the exact age of those insects. She determined the what? The exact age of those insects. Hope you get the point. So what is happening here? What are we going to pick as our answer? Yesado Giraldo was the first person to what? To study insects, to study the ants using precise data. The answer is going to be what? The answer is going to be true. The answer is going to be true. The answer is going to be true. Okay? Next one, number 11. Hope you are following me. If you are following me, drop a message in the chat box. Let me see whether you are following me. Let me see who is following me. If you are still with me, I want you to drop a message. Let me see who is still with me. Okay. Oluchi, thank you. Deborah, thank you. Very good. Asuko, very good. All right. Archibong, I can see you. Archibong. Now, number 11. The ants in Girado's experiments behaved as she predicted they would. Take note of this word. As she predicted. As she predicted. Okay? So let's look at the passage. Did the ants behave as she predicted? Now look at this. So we saw the issue of age here. Next paragraph now. Girardo watched how well the ants took care of the young, recording how often they did that. She compared something. Okay. She tested how they responded and measured how active they were. She experimented. I've not seen anything about predicted yet. I've not seen any paraphrase of predicted or any exact word of predicted. She experimented with how ants react to live prey. Girardo expected the older ants to perform. Expected. Can you see? That's the word. Now, pay attention now. Girardo expected the older ants to perform poorly in all these tasks, but the elderly ants were all good caretakers and trail followers. In other words, the ants did not behave as she expected. That is what I can pick from this passage. The ants did not behave as she expected. Now look at the statement. What does the statement say? The ants in Girardo's experiment behaved as she predicted. No, they did not. The answer to number 11 is what? False. Number 11 is what? False. Number 12. The recent studies of bees used different methods of measuring age-related decline. The recent studies, this is a keyword here, recent studies. Bees, this is another keyword. A different method or different methods of measuring age-related decline. Age-related decline, that's another keyword. Measuring, that's a verb, that's another keyword. So back to the passage now. Back to the passage now. So I saw my expected. Where is expected now? She expected. She expected. This is it. So let me look for bees. Let me scan for bees. Is there anything like bees here? There's no bees here. Responded to light. Older ants were more active. Prey. Older ants. Fruit fly. There's nothing like bees here. Next paragraph. Girardo compared the brains. Brains. Differences. Location of dying cells. There's nothing like bees here. Next paragraph. Density of synaptic complex. Alzheimer's disease. There's nothing like bees here. Next paragraph. This is the first time anyone has looked at behavioral and neural changes. Bees, I can see bees here. Can you see keyword? I've located bees. Scientists have looked at some similar aspects in bees, but the results of a recent, can you see recent? The results of recent bee studies were mixed. Some studies showed age-related declines, which biologists called senescence, and others did not. In other words, others did not show age-related decline. Let me check the question again. The recent studies of bees used different methods. I've seen bees, I've seen recent studies, I've seen age-related decline, but this part of different methods, I've not seen it yet. So let me go back to the passage and see whether I will see it. So scientists have also looked at similar aspects in bees. Recent results were mixed. Results from recent bee studies were mixed. Some studies show age-related decline, which biologists call senescence, and others did not. I've not seen method yet though. For now, the studies raised more questions than it answers. Girardo says, including alpid and tata, you are not talking about bees again. Can you see here that they did not mention anything about different methods? The recent studies use different methods. Different methods. I can't say anything like different methods here. Let me look at it again the third time. Scientists have looked at some similar aspects in bees. They have looked at some similar aspects. What are they looking at? This issue of age-related decline, that's what they are calling similar aspects. Okay? This thing is, some people say similar aspect means similar method. I don't think they mean the same thing. Similar, it doesn't mean they used similar methods. Similar aspect means they looked at the same thing that they looked at inside P dentata is what they looked at inside bees. They are looking at the same thing, similar aspects. Hope you get my point. So this thing should not be confused for similar methods. This is vocabulary. Some people will see this aspect and they will think that aspect means methods. No, no, no. I don't think so. So this answer here is going to be not given. This question number 12. Different methods. We don't know. We don't know whether they use different methods or not. We don't know whether they use different methods or not. Okay? Somebody is thinking that, okay, what of that place where it says mixed? Where is mixed? Where is it? Look at it though. It says, but the results of recent bee studies were mixed. Look at this dash here. Anytime you see dash in IELTS, the thing that comes after the dash is explaining the thing that came before the dash. So they want to tell us the meaning of this mixed. This is the meaning of mixed. Some studies showed age-related decline. That's what some studies gave us. Others did not. In other words, others did not show age-related decline. That is the meaning of mixed. The meaning of mixed is that word. The results were mixed. The results of some studies showed that what bees used to decline as they get older. That's the meaning of age-related decline. For other studies show that bees do not decline as they get older. That's the meaning of mixed. So don't think that mixed means what? They used different methods. No, they don't mean the same thing. So there's nothing in this passage about methods. So my answer is going to be what? Not giving. My answer to number 12 is going to be what? Not giving. Not giving. Number 13. Phenol dentata ants kept in laboratory conditions tend to live longer lives. Kept laboratory conditions live longer. So let's look at the passage and check whether that is true or false or not given. So if the ants don't deteriorate with age, why do they die? So let's see. Is there anything like laboratory here in this paragraph? I can see lab here. So let me read. Out in the wild, the ants probably don't live for a full 140 days, thanks to predators, disease, and just being in an environment that is much harsher than the comforts of the lab. The lucky ants that do live into old age may suffer a steep decline just before dying, Gerardo says. But she can't say for sure because her study wasn't designed to follow an ant's final moments. Let me see the statement again. Phenodentata ants kept in laboratory conditions tend to live longer lives. Yes, they live longer lives. I think that's true. This thing says, look at it. It says out in the wild, look at this part though, out in the wild, the ants probably don't live for a full 140 days. In other words, in the laboratory, they're able to live for this long. That's what he's saying. Okay? Look at it further again. Thanks to predators. In other words, in the wild, the ants that are in the forest, predators will eat them. They will be affected by diseases because that environment is harsh compared to the comfort of a lab. So inside the lab, they can live longer, as long as 140 days. That's what this guy is saying. That's what this passage is saying. They can live longer. So for me, I think the answer to this number 13 is going to be what? It's going to be true. They live longer. True. Number 14 is going to be true. It's going to be true. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've solved all the questions from, what's it called? Passage 1, section 1 of this particular reading test. I hope you got all my explanation. So we are going to look at the answers now. I want to round up here on that note. We are going to look at the remaining passage 2 and passage 3 tomorrow. I want to look at the answers now. Let's look at the answers and see whether all my answers are correct. Let me see whether all my answers are correct. And if there's anyone that is wrong, we are going to do self-correction. We are going to do self-correction. So this is Cambridge IELTS 14, test 4. This is test 4. Ladies and gentlemen, number 1, 4, F-O-U-R. Who can see my mistake in my answer? Neurons. Can you see? I did not spell it completely. This one, they're going to mark it wrong for me. Because what? Because of wrong spelling. Wrong spelling. S is missing. S is missing. So please take note of that. Those are things you need to check. That's part of self-correction. After writing your answers, check all the words. Plural words must be spelled correctly. Plural words must be spelled correctly. It's extremely important. Okay? Chemicals, correct. False. The title of passage 2 is Why Zoos Are Good. And we have matching information questions here. Questions 14 to 17 are matching information questions. And then question 18 to 22 are true, false, not given questions. And then we have multiple choice questions here. So I'm going to start with the matching information questions, and then I'll treat the, okay, let me start with the true, false, not given questions. It's going to be easier for me to locate the keywords for these true, false, not given questions. After that, I'll move to the matching information question. Then I'll treat the multiple choice questions last. So what is the strategy again? The keywords. Read the sentences and highlight keywords. So the sentence here says, an animal is likely to live longer in a zoo than in the wild. Likely is a keyword here. Animal is another keyword. Live longer. They are doing a kind of comparison here. Live longer in the zoo than in the wild. So let me go to the passage and find out whether the passage supports that or contradicts that, or maybe there's no information. So longer is a very important keyword for me. This is in the wild. In my view, it is perfectly possible for many species of animals living in zoos or wildlife parks to have a quality of life as high as or higher than in the wild. Higher than quality of life. I want you to take note of what is happening here. Animals in the zoo can have a quality of life higher than animals in the wild. That is sounding like what I just read now. That is sounding like what I just read now. Where is it? It says an animal is likely to live longer. Live longer is closely connected to quality of life. It's actually closely connected. In the wild, animals in zoos get a varied and high quality diet with all the supplements required, and any illnesses they have will be treated. Their movement might be somewhat restricted, but they have a safe environment. They do not suffer from threat or stress of predator. So can you see? Look at the next sentence. The average captive animal, what's the meaning of captive animal? Animal in the zoo will have a greater life expectancy compared to its wild counterpart. That is further supporting that sentence. So life expectancy means how long do we expect that animal to live? That's the meaning of life expectancy. So it says that what? An animal that is in captivity or that is in the zoo will have a greater life expectancy compared to its wild counterpart. So what does that mean? This means that number 18 is what? Number 18 is true. It agrees with the information in the passage. So I'm going to write true for number 18. True. Number 19. There are some species in zoos which can no longer be found in the wild. Some species in zoos no longer in the wild. Okay, those are my keywords. So back to the passage. A lot of nasty things happen. I'll just continue from where I stopped. I don't need to go back to the beginning again. Just continue from where you stopped. So a lot of nasty things happen to truly wild animals that simply don't happen in good zoos. Okay, I don't think there's anything there again. Firstly, zoo aids conservation. Colossal numbers of species are becoming extinct across the world, and many more are increasingly threatened and therefore risk extinction. Moreover, some of these collapses have been sudden, dramatic, unexpected. A species protected in captivity can be bred up to provide a reservoir population against a population crash or extinction in the wild. A good number of species only exist in captivity. Take note of that. That's sounding like what I just read now. Look at it. There are some species in zoos which can no longer be found in the wild. That's true. They are in the zoos, but if you go into the forest, you will not see them there. That's what that sentence I just read means. Look at it again. It says a good number of species refer to animals, paraphrase. Eh? Hope you are getting me. A good number of species only exist in captivity. What is the meaning of in captivity? In the zoos. Okay? There are two types of captivity, either in the zoo or in the forest park or in the game reserve. They use the word at the beginning. Let me see. I think I saw, yeah, wildlife park. Those wildlife park or zoo, they refer to captivity. So this place is saying that word. It says that um, a good number of species only exist in captivity. Only exist in captivity. So we cannot see them in the wild again. That's what this number 19 is saying. So number 19 is also true. True. Number 20. Number 20. Improvements in quality of TV wildlife documentaries have resulted in increased numbers of zoo visitors. So TV wildlife documentary is a keyword here. Improvement is another keyword. Okay, improvement of quality of TV wildlife resulted in what? Increased number of visitors to zoos. Let's check the passage and see whether that is true or false or not given. So TV is a keyword for me here. TV or television. So let me see. I stopped here. Is there anything like TV here? There's nothing like TV in this paragraph B. Paragraph C. Zoos also provide education. Okay, I can see television here. While it is true that television documentaries are becoming ever more detailed and impressive. Can you see paraphrase for quality here? In the question, they wrote quality. Here, they are writing what? Ever more detailed and impressive. Those are paraphrases. Those are paraphrases. Now look at the next part. And many natural history specimens are on display in museums. There really is nothing to compare with seeing living creature in the flesh, hearing it, smelling it, watching what it does, and having the time to absorb the details. Can you see that they did not connect TV with increased number of visitors so far? Improvement in quality of TV documentaries have resulted in increased number of zoo visitors. I've seen this part that TV documentaries are becoming more qualitative, but I've not seen this part that resulted in increased number of visitors. Look at it again. While it is true that television documentaries are becoming ever more detailed and impressive, can you see that? There's really nothing more than. So, in other words, this person says that what? Even if you can watch some of these things on TV, it is far better to go to the zoo to go and view those animals. That's what this person is saying. So, number 19 or number 20, the answer is going to be what? Not given. The passage is silent about this part of resulted in increased number of zoo visitors. The passage is silent about it. So I'm going to write what? Not given for that question. Now, let me give you a formula here. Let me give you a formula that can help you. For those of you who are not familiar with this formula, let me state the formula again so that you will learn about this formula. If you find a part of the sentence that is true, and you find another part of that same sentence that is true, then the answer to your question is going to be what? True. Okay? If you find a part of the sentence that is true, and another part of the sentence is false, then the entire sentence is going to be what? False. Your answer is you are supposed to pick false for that entire sentence is going to be false. If you find one part of a sentence that is true and you find another part that is not given, then your answer to that question is going to be what? Not given. Like this number 20 that I just solved now. I saw that this part of improvements in the quality of TV I saw it in the passage, it's supported. But this part that says have resulted in increased number of zoo visitors, I didn't see it there. Is not supported, is not contradicted. This is an example of what I call extra information. This statement number 20 contains an extra detail that is not in the passage. It's not supported by the passage, it's not contradicted by the passage. The passage is silent about it. So that part is not given. But the first part is true. But so we need to combine the two. And if we combine the two, our answer is going to be what? Not given. So that's formula number 3. All this I call this formula TFNG formula. There are 5 of them. The number 4 is what? If you see one part is false and another part of that same statement is false, then our entire answer is going to be what? It's going to be false. Then the 5th one, if you see one part of the statement is false and another part of that statement is not given, then our entire answer is going to be what? The entire answer is going to be what? Not given. Okay? So this formula is a very, very important formula. Okay, let me add number 6 to it. NG plus NG is what? Everything is not given. This formula is a very good formula that can help you to deal with true, false, not given. So I want you to take note of it and practice using it. You're going to see me use it over and over and over again, especially when it comes to not given and false. You see, I've used it to solve number 20 now. You're going to see I'm going to use it to solve the remaining, especially if there's false and not given in the remaining questions. Now, let's move on. Number 21. Zoos have always excelled at transmitting information about animals to the public. Zoos have always excelled. Always excelled. Always excelled. That's a keyword. Transmitting information. That's another keyword. About animals to the public. So let's go back to the passage. So zoos provide education. So it says that while it is true that television documentaries are becoming ever more detailed and impressive, many natural history specimens are on display in museums. There's really nothing to compare with seeing living creatures in flesh, hearing it, smelling it, watching what it does, and having time to absorb the details. That alone will bring a greater understanding and perspective to many, and hopefully give them a greater appreciation for wildlife conservation efforts and how they can contribute. Okay? Then let me see. In addition to this, there is also the education that can take place in zoos through signs, talks, and presentations which directly communicate information to visitors. Okay, now they are talking about what I read in the statement. Number 21. Number 21 says that, look at it again. Zoos have always excelled. So this, I'm looking for this part now. I've always excelled. I've seen this part of transmitting information about animals to the public. But this part of I've always excelled, I've not seen it. So look at that part that I said I saw. Directly communicate information to visitors about animals. So that part of I've always excelled, I've not seen it yet. So let me continue reading. This was an area where zoos used to be lacking. Error. Used to be lacking means what? There was a time when zoos were not good at directly communicating information. There was a time when they were not good at that. That's what this second sentence means. So that contradicts this statement 21. So you can see that statement 21 has 2 components again, like I said. One part is supported by the passage. What is the part supported by the passage? Zoos communicate information about animals to public. That part is supported by the passage. But the part of I've always excelled is contradicted by the passage. It's contradicted. So what do we pick here? The answer is going to be false. The answer to number 21 is going to be what? False. Okay? It's going to be false. Number 22, studying animals in zoos is less stressful for the animals than studying them in the wild. Studying animals in zoos, less stressful, that's another keyword, than studying them in the wild. So let's go to the passage and see. Let's see whether that is supported or contradicted. Many zoos also work directly to educate conservation workers in other countries, send their animal keepers abroad, and contribute their knowledge and skill to those working in zoos. Okay. Next sentence, next paragraph. Let me check that statement again. Studying animals in the zoos is less stressful than studying them in the wild. Okay. That's sounding like research. Studying means you are doing research. Paragraph E talks about research. If we are to save wild species and restore and repair ecosystem, we need to know how key species live, act, and react. Being able to undertake research on animals in zoos where there is less risk and fewer variables means real changes can be effected on wild populations. Finding out about the estrous cycle of an animal or its breeding rate helps us to manage wild populations. Procedures such as capturing and moving at risk or dangerous individuals are bolstered by knowledge gained in zoos about doses for anesthetic. This can make real difference to conservation efforts and to the reduction of human-animal conflict. This thing is not comparing. No. That is, studying animals in the zoos is less stressful for the animals. This part of less stressful for the animals, I've not seen it yet. Less stressful for the animals. I've not seen it yet. Less stressful. I can't see it here. I can't see it in this paragraph E. Being able to undertake research on animals in zoos where there is less risk. Who is at risk here? It's the human being that is doing the research. Less risk. The focus of that sentence is less stressful for the animal. So it's not, I can't see it here. Procedures such as capturing are bolstered by the knowledge. There's nothing here. So I'm going to pick not given. Number 21, number 22, not given. Number 22 is going to be not given. Not given. Now let me solve the matching information questions. I'll read the statements, highlight the keywords, and then go to the passage and sort the passage paragraph by paragraph. That's how I deal with matching information questions. I hope you are following me. If you are following me, I want you to drop a message. Let me see who is following me. Let me see whether people are following me. If you are following me, kindly drop a message. Let me see who is with me. Let me see whether you are following me. Hope you are learning from this exercise. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Moyo. Thank you, Deborah, Asuko, Latifa. Thank you very much. All right. So let's move on. Number 14. A reference to how quickly animal species can die out. Reference is a keyword here. Quickly is another keyword. Quickly. How quickly? Animal species, that's another keyword. Die out. What is the meaning of die out? Die out means that they are going extinct. They go extinct. All of them disappeared. All of them died. All the animals of a particular species died out. None of them exist again anywhere. How quickly? Okay. Number 15, reasons. Notice this is plural. Reasons why it is preferable to study animals in captivity rather than in the wild. Preferable, study animals in captivity, study animals in the wild. In other words, why is it better? Number 16, mention of 2 ways of learning. This number 15 is what I just solved now. Let me show you. Let me just answer that quickly now. That's what I just saw now. Research. Key role in research. If we are to save wild species and restore and repair ecosystem, okay? Being able to undertake research on animals in the zoos where there is less risk, that's reason 1. Fewer variables, that's reason 2. Mean real changes can be effected on wild population. Finding out about the estrous cycle of an animal or its breeding rate helps us manage wild population, that's reason 3. Procedures such as capturing and moving at risk dangerous animals are bolstered by knowledge gained in zoos. Can you see they are presenting reasons here? That it is what? It is better to study them in the what? In the zoos than to go and be studying them in the wild. So this E can be easily matched to statement number 15. So my answer to number 15 is going to be what? Number 15 is going to be E without wasting too much time. I'm just answering them because I used that paragraph E to answer one true or not given question now. Now, number 16 says mention of 2 ways of learning about animals other than visiting them in the zoos. I saw that in that part that talks about TV. TV documentary. This is one way. Museum. This is the second way. TV documentary and museum. That's it. So the answer to this one is paragraph C. 2 ways to learn about animals. So number 16 is what? Number 16 is C. Number 16 is C. Can you see The way I'm solving this question, is even faster. Reasons why animals in zoos may be healthier than those in the wild. Those in the wild, I saw that one in paragraph A. Why they may be healthier. Look at it in paragraph A. All animals in good zoos get varied high-quality diets with all the supplements required, and any illnesses they have will be treated. Can you see? So they will be healthier. They will be healthier. They are protected in captivity. So paragraph A is going to be the answer to number 17. Number 17 is A. So the only one I've not solved now is number 14. How quickly animal species can die out. How quickly animal species can die out. Let me scan through. I'm just scanning through the paragraphs. I can't be in paragraph A. I've used A. I've not used B. So let me check B. Die out means go extinct. Yes, see extinct here. Colossal numbers of species are becoming extinct. Are becoming extinct. That sentence says how quickly animal species can die out. It doesn't say are dying out. Let me check that paragraph again. Can die out. Moreover, some of these collapses have been sudden, dramatic, and unexpected, or were simply discovered very late. A species protected in captivity can be bred. A good number of species only exist in captivity. Still more exist in the wild. Without this effort, there will be fewer species alive today. Although reintroduction, this paragraph B looks like my answer, but let me check paragraph D. I've not used paragraph D2. Education. This one is about education. Directly communicates. Zoo is lacking. Zoos work directly to educate conservation workers. Working in reserves. There's nothing like die out here. Paragraph E, I've used it. Paragraph F, in conclusion, considering the ongoing global threats, it is hard for me to see zoos as anything other than essential. They are vital not just in terms of protecting animals, okay? Without them, the world would be, okay, educating the general population about these animals. This one is looking like the answer is paragraph B. I can't see any other paragraph that fits well. So I'm going to just write B for number 14. Paragraph B, I'm going to write paragraph B for number 14. So moving on, let's move on to the multiple choice questions now. Multiple choice questions. Write two correct letters. Choose two letters. So two of these options are correct. What is the question? Which two of the following are stated about zoo staff in the text? Zoo staff. Where did they mention zoo staff? Paragraph A did not mention zoo staff. Paragraph A, their movement. Paragraph A is about the animals. Paragraph B, zoo aids conservation. A species protected in captivity can be bred. There's nothing like zoo staff here. Paragraph C, zoo provides education. Many children and adults, okay. There's nothing like zoo staff in paragraph C. Paragraph D, education. Zoos used to be lacking. Zoos work directly to educate. Hold on. Many zoos work directly to educate conservation workers. This is zoo staff. Paraphrasing. Conservation workers, people that conserve animals. That's another word to describe zoo staff. Ladies and gentlemen, see the way they've done paraphrasing for us. Educate conservation workers. Who are conservation workers? People that conserve animals. Working with the context of this passage. Conservation workers are people that work in zoos. They conserve animals or that work in wildlife parks. So this is zoo staff here, ladies and gentlemen. That's paraphrasing that they've done for us. So let's focus. Many zoos also work directly to educate conservation workers in other countries and send their animal keepers. Can you see another word for zoo staff? send their animal keepers abroad to contribute their knowledge and skill to those working in zoos and reserves, thereby helping to improve conditions and reintroductions all over the world. So that's talking about zoo staff. So let me check the options to see which two of the following are stated about zoo staff. A, some take part in television documentaries about animals. Let me check that television documentary. While it is true that television documentaries are becoming ever more detailed and more impressive, that's all. They didn't tell us that zoo staff participates. If you pick that option, that means you are injecting an information into this part of the passage. They didn't mention that they take part. So I'm not going to pick option A. Option B, some travel overseas to overseas location to join teams in zoos. Yes, that's true. Travel overseas is here. Look at it. Many zoos send their animal keepers abroad. Can you see that? Send the animal keepers abroad. So number 23, I'm going to write option B for number 23. Number 24. Let me look for another option to make number 24. Some get experience with species in the wild before taking up zoo jobs. I didn't see that one here. Experience with species in the wild. Some teach people who are involved with conservation projects. Yes, I saw this. Look at it here. Many zoos work directly to educate conservation workers in other countries. That's what we saw here. Some teach people who are involved in conservation projects. That's it. That's option D. Okay. Option E, let me see whether option E is a trap. Some specialize in caring for species which are under threat. Species which are under threat. Species which are under threat. Did I see anything like that here? There's nothing like species under threat here. Next paragraph. If you are to save wild species, being able to undertake research, that option E is a time waster. I don't think option E is correct. Let me leave it. Next one. Write two correct answers here again. Okay, which two of these beliefs about zoos does the writer mention in the text? So, beliefs about zoos. Beliefs about zoos. So, this particular question would require the entire passage. So let me just pick the options based on what I've read so far. They can help children overcome their fear of wild animals. I saw children somewhere. Children, this is children here. Many children and adults, especially those in the cities, will never see a wild animal. Is there anything like overcome fear? I can't see overcome fear here. This is where they mention children. There's no mention of children anywhere else. Did they mention children in the last paragraph? Educating and informing the general population. There's nothing about helping children overcome fear. Option A is eliminated. They can increase public awareness of environmental issues. Yes, this is correct. Public awareness, because when people go to the zoo, they get to learn more about environmental issues. One of the environmental issues, when it comes to, let me give you a list, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever you hear environmental issues in IELTS, what are the things included in environmental issues? Let me give you the list of things that are included in this thing called environmental issues, so that anytime you come across that phrase, environmental challenge, environmental issues, anything that sounds like that, these are the things that fits into that category. Okay, number one is pollution. Okay, number two is global warming and climate change. Okay, global warming and what? And climate change. Number three is this particular one that we are reading now. Extinction of plants and animals. Okay, extinction of what? Extinction of plants and animals. Those three things are extremely important. Extinction of plants, we can also put it in a term called deforestation. And there's another concept called desertification. These are environmental issues that, they are a buzzword all over the world today. Deforestation, desertification, animals becoming extinct, animals becoming threatened, pollution. There are so many things under the category of pollution. There is garbage pollution, there's plastics pollution, there's carbon dioxide pollution. Carbon dioxide pollution is directly connected by many scientists to global warming. There's use of fossil fuels that leads to pollution. There's pollution by chlorofluorocarbons. It leads to depletion of ozone layer. So, all those things are under the category of pollution. These are things that, whenever you hear that word, environmental issues, these are the things that they are talking about. Okay? That's just by the way. So let me move on. So I'll pick option B. Then option C, they can provide employment for a range of professional people. This issue of employment, was it mentioned? That option looks like a logically correct option, but it wasn't mentioned. It was not mentioned. I can't see. Zoo aids conservation. Conservation of what? Conservation of animals that are threatened. Zoos provide education. Education of who? Education of general public. I didn't see anything like zoos provide employment. Provide employment. Zoos play a key role in research. Key role in research. So this issue of education, I don't think so. Is a trap. This issue of employment is a trap. Number D, option D, they can generate income to support wildlife conservation projects. Generate income? How? I didn't see income here. Option E, they can raise animals which can later be released. Yes, I saw this one. Raise animals which can later be released to the wild. I saw it in paragraph B. Look at it now. Although reintroduction successes, can you see? Still, more only exist in the wild because they have been reintroduced from the zoo. Can you see that? That's the last option I saw here. They can raise animals which can later be released into the wild. That's what they are writing here. Look at it. More exist because they have been reintroduced from the zoos. Can you see? Reintroduced. That means they were initially in the zoo, and then we now release them from the zoo back into the wild. That's it. That's option E. Option E is fully supported. So my number 26 is going to be what? 26 is going to be option E. Let me give you another tip here. Some people like to ask for tips. All these tips, they just used to come to my mind when I'm solving questions. Let me give you another tip. When solving multiple choice questions, I call them MCQs. Okay? I want you to take note of this. One option, let me not say one. Some options contain information that is not stated in the passage. Those options are traps. Okay? Beware of those options. Some options contain information that is not what? Stated in the passage. Number two, some options contain information that contradicts what is in the passage. Avoid them. Okay? Avoid them. Option 3, eliminate any option that cannot be what? Or let me put it this way. Eliminate any option that is what? Contradicted by the passage or that contains a trap information. Okay? These 3 tips will help you when it comes to what? Dealing with multiple choice questions. Okay? So Ladies and gentlemen, I've dealt with what? I've dealt with question 14 to 26. I've dealt with question 14 to 26. The next one I'm going to look at now is we're going to look at the third passage, passage 3. Let's look at it. Let's take it from the beginning. Hope you are following me. If you are still with me, drop a message in the chat box. Let me see if you're still following me. Drop a message in the chat box. Let me see whether you are still with me. Let me see who is still following me. All right. The Zoom link will end anytime soon. So just click the link again. Click the link again to join. This link will expire anytime soon. So just click the link again to join. All right, so passage 3 now. Okay. This passage 3 is looking like a long, boring passage. It's looking like a long, boring passage already, but don't let that scare you. Don't let that scare you. We are going to deal with it. So passage 3 asks question 27 to 33, true, false, not given again. And then we have gap filling questions. And then we have a multiple choice question at the end. So which one will I solve first? I will solve the gap filling first. Okay? Why? Because it's going to be easier for me to quickly solve those ones. It will be easier for me to quickly locate the keywords and solve them. So I want you to follow closely and take note of how I deal with this set of gap filling questions. Findings related to marine debris. Studies of marine debris found the biggest threats were plastic, not metal or wood. This is a keyword for me here. After mentioning plastic, not metal, not wood, then I'm going to see this next bullet. Bits of debris that were dash. What is the meaning of dash? Harmful to animal. So let me go and scan for plastic, metal, wood, then harmful to animals. Let me scan for those words. So I go to the passage. Okay, the title of this thing is Findings Related to Marine Debris. Okay, so I'm at the passage now, paragraph 1. I can't see anything like plastic here. Paragraph 2, marine debris. Marine debris. Marine debris. I can't see plastic here. Next paragraph. Okay, is there anything like plastic here? I can't see plastic here. Next paragraph, hundreds of paper, marine debris. I can't see plastic here. Next paragraph, perceived dangers. I can't see plastic here. Next paragraph, I can see plastic here. Only one well-designed study failed to find the effects. Microplastic bits. The plastic moved from the mussels' stomach to their bloodstream. Okay. Hold on. Let me check that gap filling again. Studies of marine debris found the biggest threats were plastic. The biggest threats were plastic. Bits of debris that were dashed to animals. Bits of debris that were dashed to animals. So I need to go back and go and check that thing. Biggest threats is a keyword here. Plastic, bits of debris. I need to go and check because I'm going too far already. I'm going too far already. I'm going too far already. Hold on. I can see plastic bags here. Plastic bags. For example, a study showed that certain seabirds eat plastic bags. Okay. Plastic bags. Trash. Marine debris. Recent paper. Okay. That one does not really. I'm looking for biggest threats now. Each paper, what threat scientists had studied. 366 perceived threats in all. In 83% of cases, the perceived dangers of ocean trash were proven true. In the remaining cases, the working group found the studies had weaknesses in design. Strikingly, Roachman says only one well-designed study failed to find the effect it was looking for: an investigation of mussels ingesting microplastic bits. The plastic moved from the mussels' stomach to their bloodstreams. The mussels may be fine-eating trash. Within the studies, they looked at most proven threats came from plastic debris rather than from metal and wood. Yes. Now, this is looking like what I saw in the gap filling. Can you see? Not metal or wood, rather than metal or wood. Now, let's pay attention to pick our answer for this gap. Rather than metal or wood. Rather than metal or wood. Most of the dangers also involved large pieces of debris, animals getting entangled in trash or eating it and severely injuring themselves. Entangled, eating, injuring. Let me check. Which one of those ones? Bits of debris that were... No, none of those three words can fit in. Let me read further. But lots of ocean debris is microplastic or pieces smaller than 5 millimeters. This may be ingredients used in cosmetics, fiber shed by synthetic clothing. Compared to the numbers, this is getting interesting. Let me go back. Within the studies looked at, most of the proven threats came from plastic debris. Most of the dangers that were dangers, bits of debris that were dangers. No, it can't be dangers. It can't be dangers. The answer should be something that sounds like toxic or something like that. Compared to the number of studies investigating large-scale debris, there are a lot of open questions still for microplastic, though she notes more papers. Wow, this is getting longer. Let me look at the next paragraph. Lots of open questions about the way ocean debris can... Many studies have looked at how plastic affects individual animals. Higher concentration of plastics. Okay. We need ecologically relevant questions. Wow. I can't see the word that fits into that gap. Let me go back. Let me move to number 35. There was little research into dash, e.g. from synthetic fibers. If I can get the answer to this one, I will now go back and go and look for the answer to number 34. So let me look for these synthetic fibers and try and see if I can answer number 35. I saw synthetic fibers somewhere where they mentioned clothes. Synthetic clothing. Synthetic clothing. There was little research into dash, e.g. from synthetic fibers. Little research into dash. Little research into... Let me read this. This may be ingredients used in cosmetics and toiletries. Fibers shed by synthetic clothing in the wash, or eroded remnants of larger debris. Compared to the number of studies investigating large-scale debris, Roachman's group found little research on the effects of these tiny bits. Tiny bits. There was little research into tiny bits. One word only. It can't be tiny bits. That answer might be microplastics. I'm suspecting that the answer will be microplastics. But a lot of ocean debris is microplastics or pieces smaller than 5 millimeters. This may be ingredients used in this THESE is referring to microplastic. So this gap is going to be microplastic. Number 35 is going to be microplastic. 35, microplastic. Let me be sure that it is plural. I mean singular or plural. Microplastic. Where is it? Yes, it's singular. Microplastic. There is no S there. Now, let me go back. So this is where I saw microplastic. The answer to number 34 is going to be here or here or here. So let me try and solve that number 34 carefully now. Bits of debris that were dashed in brackets harmful to animals. So let me look at it closely now. So this thing, back to the paragraph, most of them have proven threats from plastic debris. Most of the dangers also involve large pieces of debris. Animals getting entangled in trash. For example, animals getting entangled. Bits of debris that were entangled. No. Entangled does not sound correct. This thing is getting interesting. Animals getting entangled. You see how this is passage 3. It's usually always time consuming. The passages are usually tricky. Very, very tricky. Most of the dangers, eating, severely injuring themselves. Let me go back. While Moses may be fine eating trash, the analysis also gave a clear picture of the many ways that ocean debris is bothersome. The plastic moved from the bothersome. Bits of debris that were bothersome. Hi. Interesting. Bothersome seems like a good word. Bits of debris that were bothersome. This is bothersome here. Where is it now? Bothersome. This may be our answer. Let me just write it. It's taking too much of my time. 34. Bothersome. I'm going to star it. It's taking too much of my time. I don't like that. Number 36. Most of them focused on individual animals, not entire dash. Most of the studies. So after this synthetic fiber, let me go on to drawbacks of the study. Most of them focus on the individual animals, not entire dash. So back to the passage now. So I saw synthetic stuff here. Compared to the number of studies investigating large-scale debris, Roachman found little research on the effect of these tiny bits. There are lots of open questions still for microplastics, though she notes that more papers on the subject have been published. Okay. That thing says rather than. Most of them focused on individual animals, not entire dash. Not entire dash. Many studies have looked at how plastics affect individual animals, okay? Or that animals' tissues and cells, rather than whole populations. Populations is our word. Populations, not entire populations. Number 36 is populations. 36, populations. 36 is populations. 37 now. The dash of plastics used in the lab did not always reflect those in the ocean. Plastic used in the lab. Plastic used in the lab, in the ocean. So those are my keywords. Back to the passage now. So this is where I saw the last answer. Next one. In the lab, scientists often use higher concentrations of plastic than what is in the ocean. So our answer is concentration. In other words, the concentration of plastic used in the lab is different from what they see in the ocean. So the concentration of plastics used in the lab. So number 37 is going to be concentration. Is there S there? Concentrations. Let me see. Yes, there's S there. Concentrations. This population too has S, populations. So I must make sure I minimize that error. Spelling error. Remember, spelling error must be avoided at all costs. There was insufficient information on number of animals which could be affected, the impact of a reduction in numbers on the dash of that species. Insufficient information is a keyword here. Affected is a keyword here. Impact of reduction, then impact of ecosystem. Back to the passage now. So I saw concentration here. None of that tells us how many birds or fish or sea turtles could die from plastic pollution, or how death of one species could affect that animal's predators. Predators. Impact of reduction in the numbers on the predators of that species. Impact on ecosystem. Can you see ecosystem here? So look at something here. Let me show you something here. The number of animals which could be affected. Look at it here. Number, how many birds or fish or sea turtle? Can you see? Then look at the next one. Impact of reduction in numbers on the what? That's what we have here. On the animal's predator. Then ecosystem, the last one. Can you see it here? Ecosystem. So this number 38 is definitely going to be what? Predators. Predators. And then there's, I think there's S in that predators. Let me check and confirm. Predators. Predators. Where is it again? Predators. Yes, there's S. Then number 39. Roachman says more information is needed on the possible impact of future dash. Possible impact of future. Roachman is a keyword also, then possible impact. We need to be asking more ecologically relevant questions. Usually, scientists don't know exactly how disasters are. These are answer. Disasters such as tank accidentally spilling its own cargo of oil. That's it, oil. I saw oil, yeah, involving oil. Possible impact of future disasters. Disasters. Where is it? Disasters. Disasters. That's the word. Number 39 is disasters. Number 39 is disasters. Okay, so I've solved all the gap filling questions. Now let me solve the true, false, not given questions. After that, I will now solve these multiple choice questions. So again, remember the formula, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you remember the formula. T plus T equals true. T plus F equals F false. T plus NG equals not given. F plus F equals false. F plus NG equals what? Not given. NG plus NG equals what? Not given. Now, this is passage 3. It's going to be trickier. It's going to be trickier. So follow closely and take note of how we smoke out the paraphrases. Okay? Roachman and her colleagues were the first people to research the problem of marine debris. First people. Remember, I always tell you, anytime you see words like this, first, many, only, certainly, most, majority, all those words are important adjectives. Were they the first people? Were these guys the first people to research marine debris? Let's check. So, Chelsea Roachman, an ecologist, has been trying to answer the dismal question. Okay? He has been trying to answer the what? The dismal question. Roachman is a member of this. Okay? A collection of scientists to study the growing problem of marine debris. Plenty of studies have sounded alarm bells about the state of marine debris. Go back to the statement. Roachman and her colleagues were the first people to research the problem. No, they are not the first people. That passage tells us here that what? Plenty of studies have sounded the. Okay? So they are not the first. Some people have done the stuff before them. So number 27 is going to be what? False. Number 27 is going to be what? False. Okay. Number 28. The creatures most in danger from ocean trash are certain seabirds. Can you see that word again? Most in danger. Very, very important keyword. Which creature is most in danger? Are they certain seabirds? Let's go and check the passage to confirm. Let's go and check. Often, Roachman says scientists will end the paper by speculating about the broader impacts. For example, a study could show that certain seabirds, can you see certain seabirds? I can see certain seabirds here. Look at the statement here, certain seabirds. Now, did they say that certain seabirds are the ones that are most in danger? Is that what they said in the passage about certain seabirds? Let's go and check. I want you to look at it carefully. Is that what they said in the passage? Is it certain seabirds that they talked about? Look at it carefully. See certain seabirds here. Now look at it carefully. A study could show that certain seabirds eat plastic bags and go on to warn that whole bird populations are at risk of dying out. But the truth was that nobody had yet tested those perceived threats. Can you see that? Somebody did a research on certain seabirds and saw that certain seabirds were eating plastic bags. And then the person now came to say that what? Many birds are at risk of dying out. That is not the same thing as what we have here. The creature most in danger. This thing here, I did not see it there. Most in danger. It's not given. This number 28, the answer is going to be what? Not given. It can be supported by the passage. We are not sure. There's no information on there's no information on the creature that is most in danger. From what I read in that paragraph, we don't know the creature that is most in danger. We don't know it. The passage is silent about it. Number 29. The studies Roachman has reviewed have already proved that populations of some birds will soon become extinct. So studies that Roachman has reviewed proved some birds will become extinct. So let's check the studies. So look at it. Roachman and our colleagues examined more than 100 papers published in 2013. Within each paper, they asked what threat scientists had studied. 366 perceived threats in all. Next one. In 83% of cases, the perceived dangers of ocean trash were proven true. In the remaining cases, the working group found studies had weaknesses in design. There's nothing about becoming extinct yet, though. Proven some population of birds will soon become extinct. I can't say anything about birds here. They did mention birds here. They did mention birds here. This is the place where they mentioned that they studied papers. They checked many studies. But they didn't mention birds here. They didn't mention birds here. They mention birds here. Mussels. I can't see birds. Is there birds here? I can't see birds here. I can't see birds here. So this number 20, number 29 is looking like not given to me. I'm not going to waste too much time. Not given. Number 30. Roachman analyzed papers on different kinds of danger caused by ocean trash. Roachman analyzed papers on different kinds of danger. Different kinds of danger is a keyword here. Ocean trash, analyzed. Those are my keywords. So, see hundreds of paper here on the impact of marine debris. Within each paper, they asked what threat scientists had studied. Let me check those statements again. That statement 30. Roachman analyzed papers on different kinds of danger caused by ocean trash. Yes. Ocean debris. Impact of marine debris. That's looking like it. Impact of marine debris. Yeah. I think that one is true. This number 30 is going to be true. True. Number 30 is true. Number 31. Most of the research analyzed by Roachman and our colleagues was, yes, this part is supported, badly designed. I saw, but that part of most, that thing says most of the research analyzed. Let me confirm. I saw a place where they said some were badly designed. Where is it now? The working group found studies had weaknesses in design. Look at this thing, oh. In 83% of cases, 83% refers to most of. Okay? Now look at the next sentence. In the remaining cases, what is the figure for these remaining cases? How many studies are in these remaining cases? That's going to be 100 minus 83. That's like 17. That means in 17% of cases, the working group, that's referring to Roachman, Roachman found that the studies had weaknesses. So that's not majority. So this thing here, most of the research was badly designed. No, it's not most of them. It's 17%. That's opposite. Can you see what I said about paraphrasing? That sometimes they will use a word in the passage, but in the statement, they will now come and use the opposite to confuse people. So instead of saying few of the research, and then if they say few of the research, we are going to pick true. But yeah, they are saying most. So what do we pick here? We pick false because it's not most of the research that had poor design. It's just some of them, few of them. So this number 31 should be false. This number 31 should be false based on what I'm saying here, my analysis. We're going to check the answer very soon. And then we're going to see whether we're going to see the ones that are right and wrong, and then we'll do self-correction. Oh my, hope you are following me. If you are still with me, let me see your message. If you are still with me, let me see your message. Let me see you still following me. Let me see whether guys are still following me. Very good, Doris. I can see your message. Doris is following me back to back. Moyo, Deborah, very good. Olanike, very good. Thank you, Joy. All right. Number 32 now. Number 32. One study examined by Roachman was expecting to find that mussels were harmed by eating plastics. One study was expecting, very important keyword, mussels were harmed. So let's go and check. I saw mussels somewhere. Mussels. See mussels here. So let's focus. Only one well-designed study failed to find the effect it was looking for. What was the effect it was looking for? An investigation of mussels ingesting microplastic bits. That's the investigation. The plastics moved from the mussel's stomach to their bloodstreams. Scientists found and stayed there for weeks. In other words, the plastic stayed in the bloodstream for weeks, but did not seem to stress out the shellfish. In other words, it did not stress the mussel. In other words, this study was designed to find out whether the plastic was going to stress the mussel, but it did not stress the mussel. So it failed to find out what it was looking for. Now look at the question. Number 32. One study examined by Roachman was expecting to find that mussels were harmed. They were not harmed. Yes. That study was expecting it. That study was actually expecting it. Because the passage says that word. Look at what the passage says. The passage says it failed to find the effect it was looking for. It was looking for an effect. What effect? A negative effect. Because this last sentence suggests I was looking for negative effect, but didn't seem to stress out the shellfish. It didn't seem to stress. So they were thinking I was going to stress the shellfish. They studied the shellfish for 3 weeks. They didn't see any problem. So, I mean, they were expecting problem, but they didn't see the problem. So this thing here, one study examined by Roachman was expecting to find that mussels were harmed. Yes, that's true. So number 32 should be what? True. He was truly expecting that the mussels were harmed. Then number 33. Some mussels choose to eat plastics in preference to their natural diet. Mussels eat plastic. I saw mussels, that place I just read now, I saw mussels. Let me go back there. So this is, where is it now? Yeah, this is mussels. While mussels may be fine eating trash, the analysis also gave a clear picture of the many ways that ocean debris is burdensome. There's nothing about natural food here. Some mussels choose to eat plastic in preference to natural diet. I can't see natural diet here. Natural diets. Mussels prefer plastic to natural diet. I can't see mussels ingesting microplastic. Mussels may be fine eating trash. This thing does not mean that they prefer trash to natural diet. What it means is that when they eat trash, the trash does not harm them. That's the meaning of this statement. So don't think that this statement means that they prefer trash to natural diet. There is that mussel here. I can't see mussel here. So this number 33, I'm going to pick not giving for it. We don't know whether they prefer whatever. Number 40, the last question. Number 40. What is the best title to this passage? Assessing the threat of marine debris. Marine debris, who is to blame? This number, option B, is definitely out of it. Option A may be our answer. A new solution. They didn't talk about solution. Marine debris, the need for international action. Let me go and check the last paragraph. I think clearing, hold on, asking the right question can help policymakers and the public figure out where to focus their attention. The problem that look or sound most dramatic may not be the best place to start. For example, the name of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, a collection of marine debris in the North Pacific Ocean, might conjure up a vast floating trash land. In reality, though, many of the debris is tiny and below the surface. A Dutch group called Ocean Cleanup is currently working out plans to put mechanical devices to suck up plastic. I think clearing up some of these misperceptions is really important. Ruchman says, among scientists as well as the media, a lot of images about strandings and entanglement and all of that cause the perception of that plastic debris is killing everything in the ocean. Interrogating the existing scientific literature can help ecologists figure out which problems really need addressing. Okay? Usually scientists don't know how the disasters. This thing is option A. Assessing the threat of marine debris. Option A is better than option C and D. I feel option A is better. Assessing the threats. We need to assess the threats. That's the focus of this particular passage. Assessing the threat of marine debris. I think it should be option A. Option A. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've solved questions, question 14 to 40. Now, I'm going to post the answer here, and then we're going to check the answer at the back of the book to know the number of answers that are correct and the ones that are wrong. So, let's check out the correct answers. These are the answers for the first set of questions. Then 26 to 40. Okay. So let's check the answer at the back. This is test 4. Yeah, this is test 4. Number 14, BECA. Cool. Everything is correct there. Number 18, true, true, not giving, false, not giving. BD, BE, very good. It's looking nice. 27, false. 28, not giving. 29, false. Okay, we're going to do self-correction for that one. 29 is false. 30, true. 31, false. 32, true. 33, not giving. 34, large. Can you see? This particular question gave me a lot of problems. 35, microplastic, populations, concentrations, predators, disasters. A. So microplastic, I'm sorry, number 34 is large. Large. So let me check. So I got two questions wrong. Let us do self-correction. I want you to see the way I learn from my mistakes. I want to see how they wrote that large. Large, where did they look at it? Bits of debris that were large. Large. You remember I spent a lot of time on this particular number 34. Large. Where is large here? Bits of debris that were large. Okay, can you see here? Most of the dangers also involve large pieces of debris. They now put animals. Can you see? They wrote animals here. Animals to guide me. To guide me. Animals. But I went to pick border song. Where is the border song that I picked? Where is it now? This is interesting. Where is it again? Oh? Large. Bits of debris that were large. See where they put animal. Oh? I went to pick border song that is far away from the animal. I should have picked large. Can you see? Your answer is always close to a keyword. In gap filling, our answers are always close to a keyword. Very, very important. Number 29. Let me see. That one too is wrong. Number 29, I picked false. I picked not giving instead of false. The studies Roachman reviewed have proved that some populations of bird will soon become extinct. Okay. Let me see. The studies he has reviewed. Okay. So this thing here, I know what they are trying to say. These studies here. Roachman and her colleagues examined more than, hold on, look at it here. Roachman, for example, a study will show that certain seabirds eat plastic bags and go on to warn that all population of birds are at risk of dying out. Dying out. The studies Roachman has reviewed has already proved. See the point here. This part, I did not really pay attention to it. Already proved. No, they did not prove. They did not prove. They did not prove anything. So Roachman and her colleagues, the studies did not really prove anything. Take note of that keyword that I missed. I can't remember focusing on this keyword. I've already proved. I've already proved. I did not really pay attention to this keyword. That was my mistake. Can you see what I said about self-correction? I've already proved. Okay, now let me show you that thing is a contradiction. Look at it here now. Roachman says scientists will end the paper by speculating about broader impact of what they found. For example, a study could show that certain seabirds eat plastic bags and go on to warn that all populations are at risk of dying out. But the truth was that nobody has yet tested. Can you see the proof? For you to prove something is happening, you must have done a test to confirm it. So this thing here is my mistake. Already proved. I did not see that part. Assuming I saw that, I paid attention to this keyword, I would have noted this part also. That word, they were not able to test their threats.